What's going on, guys? My name is Jesse and we are back here for another video. We're going to do a reaction to everything great about Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, one of my favorite channels, Cinema Wins. Big shout out to them. Make sure you follow them on Twitter. Check out their channel. Link to the original video will be in the description below. And let's just jump into it. Alright, let's do it. We're going to do all 8 movies. Sorry, that's really loud. We'll do all 8 movies. These are pretty long, but we're just gonna come through them.
That I can't be objective about it. But when has the channel really ever been about being 100% objective all the time? The main Harry Potter theme, called Hedwig's theme, I guess, is one of the most original and recognizable cues up there with Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, and Indiana Jones.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more.
90% of you can hum all 4 of those themes right now. Do it. Hum them.
I don't think I could.
And then try to do the original Superman theme after Star Wars. Bet you can't. Longest opening win ever. And
you know,
book fans took a
you really can't even read the books without thinking about Hedwig's theme. Hedwig's theme. Sorry.
Nothing like creepily emerging from the woods to establish your wizardry. Wizardness? Wizardson? A little
I do think it was a mistake to not start Philosopher's Stone following Dudley Dursley's dad's day.
Yeah, that makes more sense. Yeah, turning into a tabby cat is cool, but this shadow alludes to her ability to turn into a mountain lion-sized cat.
Facts.
So, yeah. Who came back to this movie recently and kept waiting for the Dowager Countess to throw shade on Dumbledore for his unkempt beard and improper attire? Alright, there's flying motorcycles. It's magic, everyone. We can... there's the Dowager. Oh, and also a pair of beautiful beard wings. It's a score that not only captures the wonder and excitement of the magical world, but also has an eerie, ominous tone being in a minor key. John Williams never stops proving why everyone knows his name.
Yeah, I don't know much about music, but that does make sense.
Bring my coffee, boy.
Hard to watch for sure. The disdain they have for the poor orphan can make your blood boil. But the payoff for Harry's true importance is so worth it. Also, I can sort of understand where these awful, terrible guardians are coming from. They know magic exists, and they're trying to keep Harry from finding out, since magic is what led to Harry's parents' deaths in the first place. So much happening.
I don't know if I agree with that.
7 minutes into the first film, Rowling establishes that Harry has a connection with Voldemort because of Parseltongue. His commiseration with the snake about being bred in captivity is solid character development. His first accidental spell is to set an animal free, and a smidge of comeuppance for Dudley. Oh, and he's talking to a snake, which is awesome. These owls must have bullseyed womp rats in their T16s back home. I love that Harry doesn't really question what's happening.
Appreciate the
and
reference.
A real emotional outburst. It's another really depressing side of the story that he wouldn't even begin to consider that he might be special. It's been so ingrained in him that he's a lower class, subhuman even.
Yeah, a lot of character development in the first half hour of this film.
I don't know if it's Columbus's direction, Rowling's writing, or Radcliffe's delivery, but just that simple captures so much.
Yeah, it's like he's never had anything in his life.
He's never been given anything in his life.
Yeah,
actually choked me up a bit. Is there some irony in an umbrella starting a fire? I feel like yes.
Maybe.
Most everything about Harry's mistreatment is in your face, but there's even more visual winks you may not have noticed. From the iconic tape on his glasses to the clearly hand-me-down pants and shirts that don't fit him.
Right.
No one is buying this kid
everything's oversized. Yeah, it's hand-me-down stuff.
It's
very, it's a big point in the first,
it's a surprise Marnie hasn't channeled Voldemort
4 or 5 chapters of the book.
Okay, that's pretty obscure considering I had to look up her name. Remember the medium in True Blood that gets possessed by Antonia and then I think something with a rocket launcher? Anyway, that's her.
I will not pay to have some crackpot old fool. Never insult.
That's one of my favorite moments.
Standing up for your friends.
Same.
Punishment fits the crime.
Does it though?
The sign slowly goes from black to showing what it actually is, the Leaky Cauldron, the gateway to Diagon Alley.
Very cool, very cool.
Reverence. I know this is different from the book since Voldemort doesn't latch onto Quirrell until after his failed Gringotts heist, but in this universe it sets him up right away with his refusal to touch Harry. This CGI is aged just fine.
Yeah.
This movie is one more exciting magical introduction after another. This may be a lack
It's nice
of
foreshadowing, I guess.
But I love that the wizarding world is somewhat behind the Muggle world, as if magic sort of negated the need for a lot of technological advancement.
Right.
And the technology that does exist is just different, like an alternate universe.
Right.
One issue I've heard come up before is now that Harry is rich, why does he need to stay with the Dursleys after this? Who says Magic World Gold works in Muggleland? And our MacGuffin for this film is born.
Right, I don't think he also has access to all of it until he's a little bit older.
But it's the catalyst for most of the plot progression and world and friendship building once we get to Hogwarts.
I mean, as far as MacGuffins go, pretty good one.
Joke, but you know what? John Hurt is always a win. He's been chest-bursted, Control, Doctor Who, Big Brother, Ben Big Brother, Elephant Man, and he's been making wands for a long, long time.
Love all of it.
You gotta love the rich wand history that's being hinted at. Classified by magic element, wood species.
I love the way that the clothes are kind of torn up and he's kind of raggedy a little bit. I kind of like the age. It makes the world feel
further
old.
Setting up the connection between Harry and Voldemort. It's almost like Rowling had this whole story planned out.
He who must not be named did great things.
Terrible, but great.
Setting up the good
Classic
versus
line.
evil and the gray area that exists in this magic world.
Happy birthday!
Gift giving.
We'll take the lot.
God, who
Find
doesn't love
candy for your new
Hagrid,
friend.
man?
Sparing us tykes the image of someone biting the head off a seemingly alive chocolate frog.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Are you doing magic? Let's see then.
God, she's so
Maybe it's
pompous in
because
this
we know
first
she
movie.
relaxes a bit in the future, but even though Hermione wastes no time establishing her pompous attitude, you can't
Same.
help but love her.
Let's repair them.
And she wastes no time proving her magic acumen.
You've got dirt on your nose, by the way.
I used to think this was just another line item to add to the list of Hermione Granger as a bratty brat, but it's actually really considerate. Call it a compassion win. Is that Wes Gibbons?
I think
Who?
I can tell the wrong sort for myself, thanks.
Wicked incendio. Notice the sorting hat doesn't even touch Malfoy's head. He just emanates evil. And we're introduced to our red herring for the next 7 movies. Notice Quirrell's back.
This is
to the bottle when
classic.
his scar starts to hurt.
Right.
And Snape's almost realization that something is awry.
Right. That's classic foreshadowing. You gotta love that.
Harry's such a pure
You're not
kid.
gonna catch that
Ron
first
just said,
few.
It's not a witch or wizard who went bad. It wasn't in Slytherin.
So Harry's only request or wish is to not be in that house.
Begin.
Even Malfoy enjoys a good replicator trick.
Like this.
That's just gross. But what do you expect from John Cleese?
God, I
J.K.
can't even
Rowling
tell you how
predicted
many
digital
times I've
picture
seen this
frames.
movie.
A moment of pure happiness. You can hear the thoughts in his head.
I always
It's all
felt like
relating to
these
something.
scenes maybe should have
Pain,
been
suffering,
trimmed
sadness,
down a little
neglect.
bit.
And he doesn't even know the extent of it yet. Here's that inside track I was talking about, making us feel like we're a part of Hogwarts.
That was
It's pretty good CG
brilliant.
for the time.
Compliments.
It's a 2001, I think.
Teach you how to bewitch the mind and ensnare the senses.
Hans Gruber, Dr. Lazarus, Metatron, Alan Rickman is always a win. May he rest in peace.
God, Alan
Now, what
Rickman
would I do
destroys
if I
his
had the
role.
root of Asperger's
Snape's my
and
favorite
Peter
character.
Warren?
It's not
The
close.
Screwtape Letters.
Where, Mr. Potter, would you look if I asked you to find me a bezoar?
The Stomach.
And what is the difference between monkshood and wolfbane?
One's for werewolves, the other for vampires? Yeah, man, that's Wes all right. I'd recognize that dumbfounded look anywhere. J.K. Rowling predicted iPads. First evidence of how
Facts.
gifted a wizard Harry is.
Give it here, Malfoy.
Sticking up for
He's got
basically
natural
a stranger.
power.
Harry Potter's the best. He knows a thing or two about being bullied.
Could I borrow wood for a moment, please?
I love the way this classroom looks. It's just one like little
Well,
quick
if
shot
the
too, you
accents
know.
were to give away, we now know 100% without question that this takes place in the UK, since one of the school's house heads pulled a student out of class to discuss Quidditch, this magical world's football equivalent. Soccer to us silly Americans. Although no wonder she's invested in Quidditch. McGonagall must have a famous younger relative of him.
I always thought that was actually supposed to be Professor McGonagall, but I guess the timeline doesn't match up because that's Harry's dad at 1972, and I imagine that she's quite a bit older than Harry's dad, so it must be like either she has a daughter or a cousin or a niece or a nephew, something of that nature. But I always thought it was her for the longest time.
Of some kind. I know they're supposed to be terrifying, but does anyone else think they're especially cute and would like to have them as pets?
It was
Not me. I'll
standing
take a pass on that one.
Which means it wasn't there by accident. It's guarding something.
Such great character development and character continuity building. Hermione is the only one that notices the trapdoor. Everything in this film has a sense
Yeah,
of
she
a long
notices
history,
everything.
and Quidditch is no exception. Right down to the ornate box with little doors for the equipment.
Very rad.
Possibly just a result of the director yelling, "All right, just look
Look
around
anywhere."
wildly and we'll
Yeah.
add the ball in post."
Right.
Or what I choose to believe, just solid evidence for
Damn near impossible to see.
Damn
Especially
near
when the wood
impossible to
isn't a
see.
Thought you ought to know.
warning
Same.
your friends. Hermione gets a pass for pulling the old.
He's like
lawyer
the
hiding
perfect
from
red
Rex
herring in this
solution
flick,
since
too.
she's 12, and she actually fared quite a bit better than he.
Wingardium Leviosa.
Saving your friends with magic.
Nice one, Ron.
McGonagall. I went looking for the troll.
I can't say why the truth wasn't an option, but her intentions were to keep Harry. and
Her
Ron from
delivery
getting
in this
into
first
trouble.
movie is so just
taking the blame for your friends.
awkward.
5 points will be awarded to each of you.
So this is where that theory, this is all just poor Harry's schizoid delusion while trapped under the stairs at his uncle's house.
Worst
starts to
theory in the
really make
world,
sense.
that is.
Nothing like rewarding students for disobeying instructions and willfully putting their lives in danger. But, let's call it a progressive attitude win.
For sheer dumb luck.
Or that.
Appreciate
dumb luck
it.
win. That's better. I mean, Rowling invented a new sport, and it's pretty cool.
It's pretty rad, except for the rule set. Obviously, I mean, come on. Obviously, the rule set's ridiculous. You know, catching the golden stitch wins the game, gives you 150 points, and unless you're able to score more than 150 points and keep the other team down to 0 points, or whatever, less than 5 points or whatever, how many you're up, it's just ridiculous. But still, fun game to watch.
Feminism. Whoa, easy there. That's a girl. I mean, yay, feminism.
Same.
Kinda goes without saying in a team sport, but teamwork. Flying is a bit wonky at times, but who am I to say?
I don't know, I
what
think it looks
flying
pretty good.
Looks like fun to me. I love how they use the misdirection of Snape. We learn that it's not that he's working against Harry, he's just always in a bad mood because he's freaking Alan Rickman and he can do what he wants.
Same.
One of the many
And they
payoffs
also
of Harry.
show
You can't
Quirrell
help but
falling
feel
down
the
as
pure
well.
joy in Harry's heart to be accepted and even celebrated by his peers and superiors. Real
gotta
life
feel
chest
great.
shadowing. One of the more fun things
There's a lot
about
of
Harry Potter
foreshadowing in
films
this
are the
flick.
subtle and not so subtle seasonal markers, always done in a way that you barely notice you're being given visual exposition.
Looks like you got one too. I've got presents.
I've got
Another
presents.
break your heart, warm your heart moment from Harry, because he's likely never gotten a Christmas present in his life. Apparently,
So, one of my favorite characters is Molly Weasley, and I love her, and I named my cat after Molly Weasley. But I love that she gives Harry a sweater for Christmas because, you know, maybe she doesn't know exactly what a situation is, but as long as you're like a part of the team, you're part of the Weasley team, you're getting a sweater. You know what I'm saying? You gotta love that, man. Molly's the
Filch
best.
doesn't know about invisibility cloaks. But you can't hide from cats. They see your soul.
I'm telling you,
First clue
they
is
do.
Desire. Then you look at the words and you see this. Then you flip it around and you fix the spacing, and your mind gets blown. This is most likely just a technique to
classic.
differentiate between reality and what's in the mirror. But
The
it's
mirror
also an
mirror
example
set
of
is
Harry's
like
oppression. As
one of the
Dumbledore
best plot
puts it,
points in all of Harry Potter.
Deepest, desperate desires of our heart.
Even Harry's deepest desires take a second to come into focus because he's had to suppress them for so long.
I disagree with
Also,
that. I
utterly
think that's
broken.
just the effect.
The magic world is
still
such
cool.
an interesting concept. It parallels reality in a lot of ways. Every super special thing generally has a catch. Like the Mirror of Erised, for example. You'll see things that bring you joy, but ultimately,
Men have
Yeah, it makes you sad. That's the whole point.
they generally also offer up some lessons about life.
it does not do to dwell on dreams.
Yeah, agreed.
Nicholas Flamel is the only known maker of the Philosopher's Stone.
The what?
I know, right? I swear he was a sorcerer.
Same.
On detention would find you hanging by your thumbs in the dungeons. God, I'll miss
Gotta
you
love
screaming.
Filch, man.
Reminiscing.
And there are werewolves.
Nah, Remus was
I love that
around. Unless
Malfoy's a
you're
big
thinking of
scaredy cat
Sirius.
too for
I
like
wish I
the
could
first
take
half of the
names I dislike
series.
with the disdain Malfoy manages to say,
Potter.
man, you've
Potter.
got to be a loyal servant to drink mercury-looking animal blood. That's creepy. And very snake-like. Continuity.
You know, I
Anyone else
always
faster than
thought-
Kevin Sor-
Because I saw the movie before I read the book when I was a kid, and I always thought that that wasn't Quirrell. I always thought that for some reason Voldemort had like detached himself from Quirrell and was drinking the blood himself. But I guess in the book it does say that it's actually Quirrell. It's just weird the way they shot that.
Just me?
He was the one wizard Voldemort always feared. As long as Dumbledore's around, you can't be touched.
Same.
Wow. Even that set up in this first movie. Just
Same.
wow. How does Hagrid know Hedwig's theme?
Received an urgent
Ha! Urgent owl. Only Maggie Smith could say that with a straight face. Poor Neville. 5 points for Neville Longbottom. I mean, wins. I mean, 1 win. I mean, it's actually Hermione's win for Iceman magic.
You're a little scary sometimes.
Honesty.
I love how she
It's
holsters her
the alienness that
wand
swallows
like
up
it's a
Ripley.
gun.
Yep, it is.
It's too simple.
Intuition. This whole story does have a very predestination, destiny, fate feeling to it. Without his time as a seeker, Harry may not have been able to catch the key. And in real life, Wizard's chess match montage is the fastest way to get sympathy from your future girlfriend.
You gotta love Ron, dude. Gets to show some real courage.
Self-sacrifice. What a twist, especially for the intended audience, which is mid-30s women, right?
What is it? What do you
Yes.
see?
I found the house card.
I know it's not exactly Ron's vision, but
Right.
I love that Harry pulls from it as if he really doesn't know what a kid his age would desire.
Right.
Since he just wants to not be an orphan slave.
You gotta
And then a
respect it.
twist inside a twist. Such good stuff. Ghost headbutt. Smart spell. I can think of a number of things that would apply to.
Alright, Noah. Alright. You? Alright.
They're just babies. I don't know why that's a win, other than to say some great performances from some really young actors. For a
I mean, I
children's
can't
movie,
believe
gray
that the
area
cast
between
was able
good
to
and
stick
bad,
it
right
out
and
too
wrong
for
is
8
mid.
movies.
I think
Jesus.
they probably give our main trio a little too much leeway and continually reward them for breaking the rules because of the end result. But they also reward Neville for doing the right thing, even though had he been successful, he would have prevented said result.
Thanks, Hagrid.
Gotta love this relationship. Harry credits Hagrid for saving him from the Dursleys and introducing him to his true heritage. And their friendship is set up right in the beginning with the secret they share about Dudley's
Love.
tale. Also hugging.
Love Hagrid,
What
man.
a way to kick off a magical series. Now, I like Harry Potter. I've always enjoyed this film.
I love Harry
But it
Potter.
wasn't until
I mean,
watched
this
it with
is
my
here,
wife,
boys.
who has a tiny blonde girl living
I don't know if
inside
you guys
her
can
who
see
varies
it.
in age from 5 to 12 that I fully appreciate the
Deathly Hallows
excitement that people
symbol.
went through for this movie. Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone is something really, really, really special.
You're a wizard, Harry.
I mean, the amount of stuff that's set up in this flick alone, you know.
Magical world and series, including an overarching villain, one of the best red herring villains ever put to screen, and a three-way relationship
For all
that
8
gets
movies.
better and better, but it's also a fantastic standalone film that doesn't even need a follow-up. There's more than enough excitement, magic, and adventure in this film to support itself.
I agree.
The way Rowling managed to weave a detailed story that spans multiple books, films, through a fairly linear narrative is thoroughly impressive. And while I was never the die-hardiest of die-hard Potter fans, after viewing it with a critical eye, my mind is blown at the number of story threads that are set up and that she managed to keep us enthralled for so many stories after this one. You could complain that the Ex Machina devices and MacGuffins come and go and are never used more than once. But that's the strength of this world she's built. She managed to find new and interesting ways to solve problems. And a lot of the character development of our main characters is done through problem and riddle solving. Obviously, Harry gets the most to do, decodes the most puzzles, and at the very least has the best knack for flying, but each of them has their own unique skills. There is something about the way these kids act. It's cheesy, on the nose, goofy even sometimes.
What?
Yeah, I think cheesy's a good
Emma
way to
Watson
describe
is
it.
the candiest of hams, but it's also so heartwarming. You can tell that they really love what they're doing so much. The characters are one of the best things this universe has to offer. Some of the most detestable and lovable. Hagrid has to be my favorite.
We should have not said that.
He's just a giant teddy bear, and Dumbledore's endorsement should mean a lot. The second most important star of this film is Hogwarts itself and the magical world we're introduced to.
I love how the castle
Level of detail in
changes
this
from
is
movie to
amazing.
movie.
I already talked about Quidditch, but also there's so often something happening in the background. So much care went into making this world right. I know not every book fan was pleased, but a lot were overjoyed.
You should be.
seeing images they
Movies are
painted in
great.
their minds come to life. There are themes aplenty in this film that I already touched on: the blurry line between good and evil, family and friendship, free will and predestination. We're shown so many similarities
Love
between
Snape.
Harry and Voldemort, and even the Sorting Hat isn't sure what to do with Harry.
And you can join me and live.
This call from Voldemort may seem like a typical villain trope or even a trick because of the prophecy, but Harry's powerful and Voldemort recognizes that. Fortunately,
I
Harry
love this
chooses, to
scene.
the best of his ability, good. The biggest theme in this film has to be it's what separates Harry from
Yeah.
Voldemort, and it's what saves
It's
his life
the
twice
main
now. What a
main
great
theme in
Voldemort.
all the movies.
Modest, puts others first, stands up for
And books.
justice. A real underdog story we can all relate to.
A wizard.
Or he's a crazy orphan boy trapped under the stairs having
No.
delusions of grandeur.
Nope.
Whatever.
Nope,
I'm
nope.
pretty sure you're all figments of my imagination. This much positivity doesn't exist in the real world. But hey,
It's probably
hasn't
true.
stopped me yet. Let's see what Ron thinks about that.
Oh, a little lighting round action? Alright, I'm interested. Gotta love Rupert Grint, man. What are these faces? Gotta love them. Alright. Looks like that'll wrap up our first reaction here to everything great about Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, or the Sorcerer's Stone, depending on what part of the country or what part of the world you were in. I'm going to keep doing this series. I'm going to react to all 8 of Cinema Wins, everything great about Harry Potter series. If you like this, please let me know. I will be shotgun uploading these as fast as possible. If you like them, you know, follow me on Twitter, check out all the things I'm doing, and I'll catch you guys on the flip side. Later.